Diyos. Maraming salamat po sa buhay at lakas na aming taglay, sa liwanag ng kaisipan at sa pagkakataong maipagpatuloy ang pag-aaral ng mga kabataan. Gabayan po ang bawat isa sa amin. Anuman ang bahagi na aming gagampanan, naway maging maayos at matagumpay ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral na aming gagawin sa araw na ito. Patawarin mo po kami sa aming mga pagkulang at pagkakasala. At sa aming paggawa, ikaw po ang aming makasama. Amen.
Good morning, grade 6 learners. I welcome you all to another Science Terrific episode here in Valenzuela FB Live. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fine. And today, we will learn another amazing concepts. Are you excited? That's great. So before we start, let me remind again everyone to obey the following rules. First, don't forget to type your name, followed by the name of your school in the comment box below. This will serve as your attendance and means in order to acknowledge your presence in today's session. Again, type your name and the name of your school in the comment box below. Second, if you want to participate in today's discussion by answering my question, feel free to use the comment box. Our today's lesson is based on the most essential learning competencies in Science 6. It is to manipulate simple machines to describe their characteristics and uses. And at the end of this session, you, learners, must be able to describe the characteristics and functions of wedge and screw, manipulate a wedge, and demonstrate the use of screw. Simple machines make our work easier and faster by reducing the force we use in a work. When we try to clean and sweep the floor, what simple machine do we use? Very good! We use broom. And broom is an example of what kind of simple machine? Correct! It's a lever. How about when we try to open a bottle? What simple machine we use it? And what kind of simple machine is that? Correct. We use bottle opener, and it is also a lever. How about when we are asked by our grandpa to push his wheelchair on the elevated entrance of the mall? What is the best passageway for it? We will exert so much force if we try to lift it in the stairs. So best if we push it in the ramp. And ramp is an example of simple machine, and it is called inclined plane. I know you are already experts with the simple machines. Everyone loves food. Do you agree? Awesome! In preparing good food, there are some tools that should always be present, especially the tools that we use in cutting objects. So what do we use when we want to slice our meat into small pieces? Very good. We use knife. How about when we want to open a sachet of flavoring? Correct. We use scissors. And these two objects are considered as simple machines. Take a look at these two objects. What is common among them? If we look closely, these objects are both slanted, just like an inclined plane. Other than that, the two objects have sharp edges That is why it can cut and slice objects. So if we have these characteristics of simple machine, we considered it as wedge. Can you now define what is wedge? Type your answers below. So wedge is a simple machine made from two inclined planes. These planes meet and form sharp edges. A wedge is a small-scale version of an inclined plane but needs to be manipulated and moved to become useful. Wedges are widely used. Do you know the functions of wedges? To know this, let's watch this video. Wedge can be used in separating objects like cutting. It can also lift an object, and it can also hold objects in place. Can you think of an example of wedge? Wow, we have a lot of examples. So I have here an axe, knife, scissors, cutter, and these are all for separating objects. I also have here needle, tacks, staples, and nails for holding things together. Do you have any more examples? Just type it in our comment box. When we want to cut an object using a wedge, remember this, that the thinner the wedge is, the lesser effort is needed to cut an object. This is the reason why we sharpen our knives before we use it. So if we have simple machine from two inclined planes that form a sharp wedge, we also have a simple machine consists of an inclined plane wrapped around a cylinder. Can you guess what simple machine is this? Very good. It's a screw. And screws are spiral inclined plane. If we will observe the screw closely, we will notice two parts. So the spiral path is the ridge that runs around the screw is called thread, and the distance between two threads is called pitch. So if you will compare these two screws, which one you think can hold stronger? Is this one or is this one? So if your answer is this one, you're wrong. And if your answer is this one, you are correct. Remember that the strength of a screw's hold depends on the width of the thread and the distance between them. It is because the closer and the wider the threads, the stronger the hold will be. Can you name some example of screws? Let's see if what you're thinking is correct. So here are some examples of screws. We have nuts, or nuts and bolts, drill, car jack, clamp, bulb, and even the caps of jars. So based from the examples, what do you think is the main function of screw? I know you already have an idea. So to know whether your ideas are correct, let us watch this video. Screw can be used to fasten things together. When do screws lose its function? If it can no longer fasten things, we call it loose thread. If we want to put together two metal objects, or metal and wood, we use screw. And screwdriver is also used to drive a screw to fasten wood or metal together, or to remove the screw to unfasten them. Screw can also be used to lift heavy objects, just like the jack screw does. It can also bore holes through some materials, as the drill being used by a carpenter is an example of screw. So let us sum up our lesson for today. Simple machines multiply the force being exerted. That is why it makes our work easier. Wedge and screw are kinds of simple machines. Wedge is formed by two inclined planes that form sharp wedges, while screw is an inclined plane wrapped around with cylinder. Less force is needed to cut objects if the wedge's edge is thin, while screw can hold the strongest if the threads are closer together. These two can both hold an object together, like nails for wedge and nuts and bolts for the screw. Wedge is also used to separate objects. Best example is knife. For wedge or for screw, it can lift heavy load. Best example is the car jack. It can also bore holes just like how the drill does. So let us check your understanding in today's lesson. Put a smiley face if the sentence is correct and sad face if it is not. Ready? Then let's start. First, wedge is a simple machine made of inclined plane and wrapped around by a cylinder. Is it a happy face or a sad face? So if your answer is sad face, you are correct. Number 2, one of the main functions of a wedge is to separate or cut through one object. A happy face or a sad face? So the correct answer is happy face. Third, wedge requires movement to be able to use it. A happy face or a sad face? So if your answer is happy face, you are correct. Number 4, a screw is the smaller version of inclined plane with sharp edges. Put your answers in our comment box. So if your answer is sad face, you are correct. And last one, if the thread of a screw is close together, the stronger the hold in an object. So for number 5, the correct answer is happy face. You're all doing great. And I know every one of you is already equipped with enough knowledge to top score our activities in our module. So let us have now our question and answer portion. If you have questions in mind, you may put it in our comment box. So let's wait for your questions. So I can see one good question here. It says, is there a wedge that is not sharp? Remember the characteristic of a wedge. So all wedges are sharp, but it does not have to be as sharp as knife. One example is the shovel. Shovel is a wedge, but it is not that sharp, just like the knife and the scissors. A shovel is a wedge used to break up soil. So thank you for that question. So another question here is, how do screws become loose? So screws may become loose due to vibration or insufficient friction in the mating surface or both. So if a screw is subjected to constant vibration, it is likely to work itself loose over time. And if a screw is inserted into a substance that cannot provide sufficient friction, it will also be loose. So it is important that screws avoid vibration and insufficient friction. So thank you for those questions. I know you still have questions in mind that you want to ask, but don't worry because you can ask that questions to your science teacher tomorrow in your follow-up discussion. So please be present in your follow-up discussion tomorrow. So before we end this session, let me share to you this beautiful line. One machine can do the work of 50 ordinary men. No machine can do the work of one extraordinary man. So let us always be an extraordinary in everything that we do. Let us always claim we are irreplaceable. Once again, I'm Ms. Sheila Jane C. Tesoredo, your Science 6 FB Live teacher, always reminding you to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay indoors. See you again next week in another Science Terrific episode here in Valenzuela FB Live. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for listening.